She didn't want my boyfriend. She wanted my life, my peace, my future, my joy. And she almost took it.
Life has a strange way of introducing people. Sometimes it feels like fate, but other times it feels like a trap. For Ada, life was ordinary. She went to work, came home, laughed with friends, and dreamed quietly about a future that felt just out of reach. She met Tunde in a way that seemed simple, almost innocent. A shared smile on a busy Lagos bus, a conversation about a missed train. From that moment, he became a part of her daily thoughts. But love, she would soon learn, is never simple. At first, it felt magical. Tunde seemed perfect, charming, attentive, always there with a kind word or a shared joke. Ada allowed herself to enjoy it, to feel what so many others described as happiness. And yet, deep inside, she knew something was different about her feelings. It wasn't just about Tunde, it was about her own sense of freedom, her dreams, her future. And then came the first warning sign, almost invisible at first. A friend, someone she trusted, started asking too many questions, giving too many suggestions. They smiled a little too wide when Ada mentioned Tunde. They lingered a little too long when Tunde shared small details about his life. At first, Ada laughed it off. After all, jealousy is normal, isn't it? But beneath the laughter, something darker was brewing, a storm that would change everything. Obsession is quiet, sneaky, and often hides behind a smile. Ada's friend, Chioma, had been close since childhood. They shared secrets, clothes, birthdays, and sometimes even heartbreaks. But when Tunde came into Ada's life, something in Chioma shifted. What Ada thought was harmless concern became subtle manipulation. Chioma started planting ideas, whispering doubts about Tunde's loyalty, about Ada's worthiness. Chioma's obsession wasn't about love, it was about control. She wanted what Ada had, not the man himself, but the life Ada was building. Every time Ada laughed with Tunde, Chioma felt a pang of envy, a craving for what she believed she deserved. Slowly, she began to interfere, sending texts from fake numbers, creating situations that would make Ada question herself. Every small act seemed harmless until Ada realized her world was quietly falling apart. Obsession doesn't scream, it creeps, and Chioma's obsession crept into every corner of Ada's life. Her phone buzzed with mysterious messages, her reputation was subtly questioned by rumors Chioma started, and her trust in the people around her began to falter. But the most painful part, Ada never saw it coming from the friend she loved, the person she trusted with her secrets. Betrayal hits hardest when it comes from someone you love. Ada didn't notice the first real betrayal until it was too late. Chioma invited her to a girls' night at a popular lounge in Lagos. Ada thought it was innocent fun. She didn't know Chioma had already told Tunde things that weren't true, twisting words, planting seeds of doubt about Ada's loyalty. When Ada arrived, she noticed the tension. Tunde was there too, unexpectedly. His eyes weren't warm, they were confused, suspicious. Ada tried to smile, to act normal, but the whispers, the glances, the side comments created a storm that neither Ada nor Tunde could navigate. That night, a simple outing became a battlefield, and Ada felt something inside her break. The betrayal wasn't loud, but it was sharp, cutting through her heart like a silent knife. In that moment, Ada realized life isn't about the people who stay, it's about the choices she makes when others try to steal her joy. And she vowed quietly that no one would control her life, not even the ones she loved. But she couldn't yet see the full scope of Chioma's obsession, or how deep the betrayal would go. Chioma's moves became bolder. She didn't just whisper or hint anymore, she acted openly, crafting scenarios to isolate Ada from everyone she cared about. Friends began to pull away, believing Chioma's lies. Tunde became distant, unsure of what to believe, unsure of whom to trust. Every word Ada spoke seemed to be twisted, every action misinterpreted.
It's a strange feeling, being surrounded by people and yet being utterly alone. Ada felt her heart ache, her dreams wobble, and her confidence shake. She realized that Chioma wasn't just jealous. She was determined to take everything Ada had, and she would not stop until Ada was broken, powerless, and dependent. And in this chaos, Ada began to see the truth about herself. Her strength, her life, her dreams, they were worth more than anyone else's obsession. She decided to stop reacting and start acting, to reclaim the life that Chioma tried to steal. But taking control was not easy, because the manipulations had left wounds deeper than anyone could see. Sometimes, life hits you so hard that you see things differently. Ada reached a point where she could no longer ignore the betrayal. She started paying attention to details she had missed. The late-night messages, the suspicious accidents, the way Chioma smiled whenever Ada faced trouble. The turning point came unexpectedly. Ada overheard Chioma on a call, laughing as she described how she had almost ruined Ada's life. Every word was poison, and yet it fueled a fire inside Ada. She realized that the fight wasn't about Tunde or even Chioma. It was about her own life, her own freedom. Ada decided that nothing and no one would dictate her happiness anymore. From that moment, she began to act deliberately, reclaiming her life one small victory at a time. She confronted truths, cut off toxic influences, and focused on her dreams. The turning point wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, steady, and personal, and it gave Ada the power to rewrite her story. Reclaiming a life that was almost stolen takes courage. Ada started to rebuild, slowly, deliberately, like planting seeds in a garden. She focused on herself, her passions, and the things that made her genuinely happy. The process wasn't instant. It required patience, reflection, and sometimes tears, but each step was a victory. She also learned to forgive, not for others, but for herself. Holding on to anger is like holding a burning coal. You are the one who gets hurt. Ada realized that moving forward meant freeing herself from the emotional chains Chioma had tried to bind her with.
This reclamation of life was her triumph, her victory over obsession, betrayal, and fear. Life has a way of exposing people when you stop protecting them. When Ada walked away, Chioma expected chaos. She expected tears, arguments, begging. But Ada gave her nothing. No anger, no fight, just distance. And that silence did something Chioma never planned for. It made people start watching her. The lies Chioma told began to collapse. Friends noticed how every story she shared changed slightly each time. Screenshots surfaced, messages didn't add up. The same mouth that once whispered poison became the reason people stopped trusting her. Slowly, invitations stopped coming. Conversations ended faster. Chioma wasn't attacked, she was ignored. And for someone who lived on control, that was the real punishment. Kunle learned the truth too late. By the time he realized how deeply he had been manipulated, Ada was already gone. Not angry, not bitter, just unavailable. He tried to explain, he tried to apologize, but explanations don't heal wounds you refused to question. Losing Ada taught him a lesson he would carry for years. When you doubt someone who loves you because of another person's voice, you don't just lose love, you lose yourself. Ada never returned to clear her name. She didn't need to. Her peace spoke louder than any defense ever could. Months later, her life looked different, quieter, fuller. She laughed without fear, loved without shrinking, trusted her instincts, and the people around her felt it. This was a woman who had fought for herself and won. Chioma watched from a distance, powerless now. Kunle watched with regret, but neither had access to her life anymore. Because Ada had learned the final truth. Some people don't want your love. They want your life.
And once you protect it, they lose all power.
If you enjoy this story, please like, share, and subscribe to support more stories like this. Your support keeps these African folk tales alive and helps us share lessons that matter. Thank you for watching, and thank you for being part of this journey.